Now let's talk about costs of production. There are costs of production in the short run, and there are costs of production in the long run. Now we're going to take a look at costs of production in the short run. First, we have total fixed cost, abbreviated as TFC, which is the total cost for using fixed inputs. Next, we have total variable cost, or TVC, which is the total cost for using variable inputs. Then we have total cost, or TC, which is the total cost for using fixed and variable inputs. TC, or total cost, equals total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Now we have average fixed cost, or AFC, which is the total fixed cost per unit of output. We can calculate average fixed cost by dividing total fixed cost by the quantity. Average variable cost, or AVC, is the total variable cost per unit of output. Average variable cost is equal to the quotient of total variable cost and quantity. Average total cost, or ATC, is the total cost per unit of output. Average total cost equals total cost divided by quantity, or average total cost is the sum of average fixed cost and average variable cost. And finally, we have marginal cost, or MC, which is the additional total cost to produce one more unit of a product. Marginal cost equals the change in total cost divided by the change in quantity. Now let's take a look at costs of production in the short run. In the leftmost column, we can see quantity. It increases from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3, 4, 5, and 6. In the next column, we see total fixed cost. Since total fixed cost is the cost of fixed inputs, which do not change as we increase the quantity, total fixed cost will remain the same. In this table, it equals 200. Total variable cost, on the other hand, will increase as we produce more, a greater quantity. You can see that it goes from 0 to 30, 40, 66, 120, 250, and 388. The next column over, total cost, is simply the summation of total fixed cost and total variable cost. When we produce zero quantity, we have a total fixed cost of 200, a total variable cost of 0, and a total cost of 200. When we produce 1, our total fixed cost is 200, our total variable cost has increased to 30, and thus our total cost is 230. Marginal cost is the change in total cost divided by the change in quantity. If we look, as we increase the quantity from 0 to 1, our total cost changes from 200 to 230. The difference between the total cost is 30, and thus the marginal cost for the first unit is 30. If we look at average fixed cost, this is simply total fixed cost divided by the quantity. Average variable cost is the total variable cost divided by the quantity. And average total cost is the total cost divided by the quantity. Here we're looking at costs of production in the short run again, but now we're looking at it through graphs. Let's take a look at the first example. First, total fixed cost is a horizontal line. Because total fixed cost does not change regardless of the quantity of output, however much it increases, it is a horizontal line because it will not change. Total variable cost will increase. As our quantity of output increases, our total variable cost will also increase. And since total cost is the summation between total variable cost and total fixed cost, and since total fixed cost remains constant while total variable cost will increase, total cost will also increase as the quantity of output increases. Now let's take a look at the second example. Notice how average fixed cost is decreasing. That is because total fixed cost remains constant, and as we increase our quantity of output, our average fixed cost will decrease. Marginal cost, average total cost, and average variable cost are the parabolic type functions. After a certain quantity of output is produced, the marginal cost, average total cost, and average variable cost will eventually increase. let's discuss costs of production in the long run. In our example, you can see the long run average total cost curve, or LRATC. And I've divided it up into 3 separate sections. So let's discuss. First, we have economies of scale. This is when the average total cost decreases as the quantity of output produced increases. Since it is downward sloping, the average total cost decreases as the quantity of output increases. Next, we have constant returns to scale. The average total cost does not change as the quantity of output produced increases. This part of the LRATC curve is horizontal, which means that as the quantity of output produced increases, the average total cost does not change. And finally, we have diseconomies of scale. The average total cost increases as the quantity of output produced increases. Since it is upward sloping, we can see that as the quantity of output produced increases, the average total cost also increases. Thus, it is called a diseconomy of scale. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.